Hey everyone, D-Dub Squizzy here. Welcome back to Swordflight. Just noticed how much of extra designs there are in that axe. Got a lot of points off the back of it. Anyway, alright. So we're in the Galhadr estate. I don't actually have anything to sell. Usually I do, but I think I have a low enough charisma that I got terrible prices. And thus, I didn't have to sell as much. Or didn't make as much from selling, so the guy didn't run out of money. Was your new barbarian? Pasha Galhadr hired to do a little weapons training. Certainly, yeah. Well, that's not very nice.
My weapon can't touch him.
872 experience. And this, level up before you'll be able to use it. So, that's kind of like a constant healing potions and kits have been stashed for use. I will take those. I don't think you could take the tools there for free, but I believe there's a weapon and armor rack here that you can loot. Equip yourself from this source if necessary. Yeah. I'm going to leave these here for now. I'll likely come back for them at some point and just sell them because why not? I like to sell everything I can. Same thing with those weapons. Okay. So we need to report to Galhadr, but I'm going to take a look around before we do. He has a real nice estate because he's one of the rulers of Kalimshan. So yeah, the setout of Kalimport here is basically you have a bunch of different districts you can go to, and this one properly captures just how big a city is. Unlike normal NWNEE Nights, which it's pretty big, but it's only like, what is it, 5, 6 areas of city to capture all of Neverwinter. Doesn't seem that big. In this, you get to the edge of an area, and you have a dialogue thing that asks you which way you're going to go, and then you go there, and it takes a while to do, is the idea. I've got too many half-orc people like you joining us. Suspect you'll fit in just fine. Yeah, no point in trying to get in there. So, basically you have the top level, which is where all the people are, and then there are sewers, and then oftentimes there are things beneath the sewers. I always recommend going through sewer entrances if you see them. I learned from annoying experiences that they can only be opened from the inside, so might as well open all of them as you come across them, even if you're not going to explore the sewers yet, just so it's more convenient later. Alidra, Galhadr, beloved wife and mother. Yeah, she was pretty young. Is inscribed on this stone, which marks the grave of Zoralla's mother. Looking up at the stone, remember some of the things Zoralla told you about her. An heir genocide sorceress, became first adventure companion, later wife, Hamad. Killed by assassins sent by some of the enemies he made through his political agitation against the slave trade. Danar Galhadr, 5 years old. Inscribed on this stone, marking the grave of Zoralla's brother, younger than her by a couple of years. Remember a few things Hamad and Zoralla told you about this other family tragedy when you first came to the estate. Boy died of a mysterious disease which no spell could cure. Clear sun is magically inflicted. Some hostile supernatural power was involved. Hamad suspects his death, like that of his wife, was also an assassination carried out by his enemies, but has no proof of who was responsible, though he's not without suspicions. Mention the manner of death was likely chosen to humiliate him, since paladins can boast some expertise in combating disease. You remember him commenting how to praise someone would have to be to think he would care about such a thing more than the life of his son. Yeah. I think I know exactly who that was. A particular semi-antagonist who can come into play later. Find this half-elf tending the rather small and sparse gardens. And as you can see, he has a peg leg, which is pretty interesting. It actually did that. I cannot do that on my characters. Barbarian, don't believe we've met. Tend to keep to myself, not spend too much time around the guards and adventurers, despite the fact I'm retired from much adventuring myself. I'm Elkaldan Kamas. I do gardening work for Hamad. How'd you come to work here? Worked with them on occasion in the days when we were adventurers. With them on a quest to the Underdark. Ended up having my leg chopped off by some drow. Wasn't going to be much of an adventurer. Wasn't sure what else to do. I had some druidic talents. Offered me a job as a gardener. Cases of missing limbs like being regenerated through divine power doesn't happen as reliably as more mundane healings. When Shantae, the goddess I served, declined to provide such healing, took it as a sign she wanted me to move on to less strenuous activities. Not worth much as a fighter. I could still use my druidic powers to help farms and gardens prosper. Yeah. Hamad has many other concerns to occupy him. This isn't much of a priority. I only work at part-time, it's not really big enough to justify anything else. You might be able to help. How could I help? Don't know if your adventures like to take you to the Kelium Desert, but if they do, like to keep an eye out for any plants that grow there. You could find to bring me the seeds. Help me get some things growing. Yeah, sure. When did I last save, actually? Hold on. Yeah, not before talking to him. Okay. I need to be careful what I say. I don't want to keep accidentally veering towards good. It's my natural inclination in these sorts of games, because I generally play good characters. Nothing in the garbage. Boring. Not time for the guard's meal yet, but we won't get it any faster. Still only 51 there. Just wanted to talk to you. What kind of creature are you anyway? You look half-orc to me. Last time I checked, half-orc people need food to survive. How'd you get the job? Used to be an adventurer. I was death with axe or sword, cooking with a knife. Camped with my comrades. Somehow I got the job of cooking meals with a campfire. Got good at that too, so when age started catching up to me, figured I could be a cook in retirement. Yeah, he's not, well, I mean, he's not extremely competent, but he's a decently competent adventurer. Or was at one time. There's Hamad. Greetings. Hope you're setting in well enough. Learn about my duties. First task, however, you concerns a matter I expect is of interest to both of us. Remember your encounter with the strange monk who sought to kill my daughter. Heard of this order before. Appears to be some sort of recently arisen cult. Maintains an establishment in the city. Indulging a lot of disturbing but vague rhetoric about destroying the old order with fire to bring on the new. Things of that nature. I had not heard of them doing anything illegal or especially morally objectionable. Paid them little mind until they attacked. After which you related, intentions has assuredly been captured. Family has suffered loss to assassins before. Do not intend that it should happen again. It seems clear some sort of evil is behind this order. Exactly what evil and its purpose remain unknown. I do intend that they remain, or do not intend they remain so. Options at the moment are rather limited, lack any solid proof. Order seems to have acquired some patrons among the nobility who are protecting it. How they managed to do that is another mystery worth investigating, but at the moment it means your word. Understand, I intend no insult, only describing the reality of the situation. However unjust it may be, nobility will not accept the word of someone unknown to them. Not even going to pretend I'm a noble there. Commoner and half-orc as well, no doubt that has put me pretty far in the inner circle. Zorala is the opposite problem, too well known to the city's nobles. Fears she's not acquired the reputation for her honesty would have desired. History telling some fanciful tales, Spectre story to be met with skepticism. How can we prove a monk who attacked possessed the order's authorization? Could always be denied that he did. You know, he burst into flames when he died, so I had nothing to go on. Have a friend of the city watch, Lieutenant Deshar Zainem. Prepared a letter to him detailing my concerns. Mention your encounter. I'd like you to deliver this letter to him so he can ask you questions about it if he desires more details. That's it. Do not doubt there's evil lurking within this order. It becomes manifest. We may eventually be forced to some such response you suggest. We have as yet no real proof. That's how you want to do things? Alright. Not particularly lawful or chaotic. Here's the letter. Take it to him in the watch headquarters. Incidentally, it may be worth keeping in mind Lieutenant Zainem is both a competent officer and an honest man, unlike many of the corrupt officials to be found. If you come across anything to which the City Watch should be alerted, recommend going to him. You have access to the watch headquarters. Still the matter of the Ernea. The Sil Pasha has been notified of the threat. He doesn't seem to be taken very seriously. I've certainly not forgotten your discovery. Maybe that in due course you'll be able to assist. Perhaps you'd also tell me where I'll find some merchants worth adventuring gear. Leave the estate, turn west, follow the street. Alright, and now I think I know where the merchants are at as well. Can't go up to the top floor. That's sort of just residentials for Hamad and any family, which at this point is just Zorala. That'd be a knoll. Well, before you intersperse his speech with snarling and growling, his mouth not suited for speaking human languages. You're the barbarian. I'm Snejog, an adventurer in service to Galhadr. Not expecting to find someone like you. Surprised to find a Knoll here is no surprise. I was once an old warrior. Galhadr captured me in a fight, taught me the ways of Tyr, served Tyr as a cleric. Go on missions to service purposes like the others. It's a much better way to live. You're able to put the evil ways of so many of your people behind you. Happy to inspire, part of the job as a cleric. Work to do, and so do you. These guys are about my power level. I'm Talucarino, sorcerer, adventurer. Yes. Surprised to hear he had hired someone of whom he had such little previous knowledge. Seems to have impressed him by managing to keep his daughter alive. Keep you out of trouble can be difficult. Hope you appreciate working here as an honor. Do good service, such a man. Indeed, honor to be served such a noble paladin. I don't take much account of honors and titles. Seems a decent enough guy. Particularly conscious of my own good fortune. Not everyone will be so willing to employ one such as myself. Why would someone want to employ you? No one's mentioned it to you. Sure, someone will. Know that I look perfectly human to casual inspection. I'm tainted with the blood of the Yuan-ti, people from the southern jungles. People in Chult cast me out when they discovered this, while the people of the north are not quite as paranoid about those in the south. Many still would not trust me. Let's see, try not to hold it against you. Makes it easier. Know that I was raised among humans, not in a community of Yuan-ti. Never subscribed to the goal of bringing about the domination of serpentkind. Alright. So yeah, he's got lots of the adventuring types like us to do work for him. That's just down to the barracks. I believe these are just spare rooms. I like how my challenge rating for myself is challenging. And there's Zarala. Suppose you're looking for Dad, so he'd send you off on some adventure. He won't let me out of the house. Not just too ridiculous. Not really my place to say. So frustrating to deal with his rigidity. Can't live forever. Sometimes I wish he would hurry up and die so I can go on with my life. Try to avoid dragging you into our family squabbles more than I already have. Even if I'm stuck here, still prepare for future adventures by increasing my magical knowledge and ability, but spending most of my time researching magical lore, particularly as it relates to the Jinn heritage. Can't object to that. Proves the learning and study. Remember when I cast the first cantrip, I was so nervous. I think he expected me to blow myself up. But I'm particularly researching my magical armor and robe, looking for ways to unlock their full power. Library here isn't really adequate for such a specialized subject. Can't go anywhere else. Very frustrating. Wish I could talk to Kadzi about some of this stuff. Who is she? Kadzi is Zakar, old friend of mine, daughter of Kalomis Zakar, Pasha, who was once a friend of Dad's, though they had some sort of falling out. Pretty powerful wizard, an archmage, they say. Kadzi has picked up a bit of magic. She'd be just the one to point me in the right direction. Even have some previous experience researching old Jinn artifacts. What artifacts? Bit of a joke about something that happened when we were children. Columbus had this ancient Jinn sword, full of powerful magic, couldn't use it. Managed to sneak in, get my hands on it with Kadzia's help. She didn't think it was a good idea. Within a few minutes, it lighted up and had lightning running up and down the blade. Responded better as someone with an elemental heritage. Columbus was mad, though we'd solved his problem. He was able to access Sword's power himself once I'd activated it. Still a prominent part of his collection. But lately, he's had it wreathed in flame rather than lightning. It can access different elemental powers. Come to think of it, you may... maybe you should go over there. You could take a letter from me to Kadzia, some notes on my research, so you can look at them. Suppose I could do that. There you go, take this to Kadzia, find her in the Zakar estate. Head south when you leave the main entrance, look for a big wizard's tower surrounded by some water. I always did, suppose you have to tell some servant what your business is, that shouldn't be a problem. And there's also this place, right here, spend some time reading, gives you XP every time that you level up. You can use that just like you can train. So I'm already well on the way to another level up. See the servant in front of you pocketing some valuables. Surprised the servant was pocketing some moderately valuable knickknacks, a few stray gold coins. I was just taking these items to be cleaned, all part of my duties. Take for a complete and utter fool, you're stealing from our employer. I'm stealing, don't see what the big deal is. He's such a wealthy man, hardly miss what I take. Can't just decide for ourselves and supply when they don't. Total chaos would result. That should get me back to about the middle there. Gonna report me then. Can't you give me a break? Like making people beg, not as actually carry around. No. I guess I'll report it to the captain. Why not? Guard captain doesn't have any authority over me. These bookcases have books in them, but I think if you loot them, it's also stealing. The stealing thing really gets you. So used to just running around, indiscriminately taking whatever I want in this game. Swordflight was, took a little bit of effort to really wake up to how it functions separately. Where bother me, be your nominal superior, no Hamad Galhadr, is you reporting directly to him, or you hostile resent the fact I've been removed from your chain of command. I think against you personally, just as like employed adventurers such as you. Always run around on special missions, refusing to follow procedure. Great deal of discipline to be a proper barbarian. Perhaps the special arrangements made for adventurers does not contribute to the proper discipline of the guard contingent. Perhaps I've been looking at things the wrong way, letting petty grievances interfere with my duties. To try to avoid doing so in the future. Still busy, so there's nothing else. Caught someone stealing. Alright. He'll deal with it. They don't give you many options to actually express the neutrality, at least not as much as there is good, evil, lawful, and chaotic, which, fair. I think those are kind of like treasure things. I don't really know what that room is, but I can't really interact with it without breaking the law, so. Benefit of anyone who needs them. Yoink. Take a little for your own use. Yoink. And an altar. Lawful good, lawful neutral. Receive benefits by praying here. I'm none of those things, but I'm also not evil, so I'm not going to interact with it. Which is going to be the case with most altars. I know, it's frustrating. If you're any other class, seriously, or any other character, you'll pretty much always end up using those things one way or another, but I can't justify it. Not with this character. Alright. Well, we're exploring our first area of Kalimport. I tell you, so much detail was put into this particular chapter of Swordflight. I've heard it said in many places where people talk about these modules, this thing is an entire game in its own right. And that's not an exaggeration. There is so much content here. And it takes you all the way up to like level 16 usually. But basically, by the time you're done with this, you're done with most of the official Neverwinter Nights content. First time I finished it, I was wondering where the rest of the thing was going to go. I didn't expect it to bring you all the way up to level 40 by the end. I didn't think that was the plan. Venture investigating to make sure there are no monsters. No any quests. Alright. I will loot your garbage. Potion of Lesser Restoration. Why would you throw that out? Those things are handy. Yeah, nothing else. I assume this here is servants' quarters. This is where people who work for the nobles probably live, for the most part. Are you a beggar? Take this. Must give you some money. Save your money for those in greater need of it. They gave you no good options there. That's not entirely like... I mean, like, my There was no neutral way out of that. Couldn't just say, yeah, no, thank you. You had to either be a prideful fool, a sleazy, basically thief, or a benevolent man. Whatever. Greetings, recently hired by Hamad Galhadr, were you not? Representative of Pasha Olim Kakar wishes to speak with you about ways you could make your service to the Galhadrs serve him as well, earning you additional profits. No harm in hearing what he has to say. Follow me, begins to walk away. Go down the stairs in the garden, speak to him there. Before I do that, I want to walk around and have a short conversation with this guy. Appears to be an adventurer of some kind. Your business with your employer, or my employer, not me. Best hope that's the case. Those with whom I have to meet to get out my business tend not to leave the encounter alive. Most who come here know me by the reputation I've acquired. Sima Naraka, once of Cholt, an adventurer, employed by Kachar, ferret out difficult to acquire information, which he takes an interest in eliminate problems he has. He helps me carry out my true mission. Does not really understand or appreciate my holy purpose, but on practical matters our interests converge often well enough. And what is that? I serve to Lona, the Lady of Poison, Mistress of Disease, and Mother of Plagues. Strike down the weak so the strong may rule the land as they should, giving me strength to carry out her work. See these blades? Yeah, those ones. Lonas bless these weapons so that they may inflict disease on those they cut. Very often, what it favors most with me, they're cursed such that no spell or cleric or paladin can cure them. Not one of those fools who seeks balance. Your cause is doomed. Death brought by Talona won out over everything. In the end, but I should not berate you. You serve her cause without even knowing it when you oppose the fanatic champions of so-called good. Could say you serve balance without knowing it. I need to be about my business, so ta. There's Kakar. He's only overpowering. I could probably cut him down here. But his men are probably dangerous enough. At this point, they'd kill me. Horrible mutilated corpse caught within this torture device. Someone slowly, painfully killed. I'll take your stuff. I'm Pasha Olim Kakar. Welcome to my home and my garden. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is. Could be made more so by removing the corpse. That's just a slave who clumsily spilled a drink in my lap while bringing me a meal. A sort of carelessness just won't do it all. One needs to make sure the household staff learns to perform better when you find mistakes like that being made. While we're on the subject of food and drink, notice there's some both laid out on the table there. Feel free to help yourself to it while we converse. Let's get down to business. You're Thungar Bluegrit the Barbarian, recently hired by Hamad. Yes. Not as well informed as I would like to be. That's what I would like to talk to you about. I tend to make it a point to stay up to date about the activities of politically significant individuals. To that end, I would like to propose a mutually profitable arrangement. Namely, you'll make a point of regularly updating me as to what Hamad has going on. Want me to spy? It implies you're somehow being disloyal to your current employer. No one's suggesting that. Simply carry on with your normal duties, and then go tell a friend what they were. No harm done to anyone, and all of us profit. Old Hamad might not see it that way. These paladins tend to be unnecessarily rigid about a lot of things. But what he doesn't know won't upset him. Still sounds like spying. Call it what you like. What it amounts to is an opportunity to make some money and gain a new ally, all without jeopardizing your current arrangements. Yeah, that's fair. Got a good position. Not gonna risk it with you. Doesn't hurt to try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You'd see yourself out. Yeah. The best hope I don't come back. Otherwise, I'll die to your assassin. Because I bet you he actually is pretty competent. Alright, the Zakar estate will be past there. The Surket estate is past this this big gate right here that I'm not able to open. And I think that's part of the Thieves quest line or something like that, because they're different class quests. So I've not played a thief in Swordflight yet. Never been in that place. Gatherin's garb and gear, greatest collection of magical armor and weapons to be found in Caliport. Like to enter the store, but the door is locked. It's an exclusive establishment catering primarily to the nobility of Caliport. Don't permit riffraff off the streets. Doesn't sound like a good business model. Hardly anyone who falls below level of distinction we look for can afford the things we sell. Few customers we lose as a result of the policy, more to make up for in the gain to our reputation. How should I go about gaining entrance? You appear to be nothing more than a common adventurer, definitely not the sort of customer we're looking for. Adventurers have been known to make fortunes, we not reject them automatically. You, however, seem particularly barbarous and loathsome adventuring type. When was the last time you bathed? I'm not sure we would ever accept a savage like you. You insult me. Down to why not? What are you going to do about it? Attack me in the middle of a public street? Just conveying the store's policy. However, your cause is not completely hopeless. Would not normally allow access to a barbarian if you obtained letters of recommendation from several nobles or well-known merchants. Could prove you're important or respectable enough to be allowed entrance. You'll need several letters. Any common mercenary get a recommendation from his employer. That's not enough. Yeah. Very weird setup. But, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it takes a while before you're able to do that. But in fairness, you cannot afford anything they have yet. You need a minimum of 3 letters. Another random house to check out. Here's some sort of commotion coming from the structure to the west, may be worth investigating. Enter the house, you see broken furniture. Oh boy. I have a magic weapon. It's a big one. I should probably put up some elemental defenses. I rolled a 2 and a 1 on a couple of those attempts. Alright. I'm going to hang on to this. It's used for a very minor quest. I guess you could call it a quest, even though it probably doesn't even qualify as that. Later on. Quite a while later. But better to just have some oak wood with you for it, in my opinion. Alright, so demons in this house. Or devils. Which is no good. I would like to minimize how much resistance is being taken off. I've only got 20 points of damage that thing will absorb, which is not as many as it might seem like. The sooner I close ranks with these things, the less they're going to breathe on me. At least it's minor devils so far. It doesn't look like any big ones have taken notice that there's a way in, which, judging by that portal, it's not very well concealed or guarded. Chest has been magically warded and sealed, leaving no means which its contents could be accessed. Someone with knowledge of the arcane could be able to determine a way to get through it. I have no spellcraft, so yeah, fat chance of that happening. Well, is that one coming around the bend? No, not yet. Let's grab what we can before it does. Tables covered with notes and papers detailing various experiments. Find a journal entry with the passage. I should really get my quasit eye out so I can quickly close the portal if something goes wrong, but I can't remember where I stashed it. Because quasits are demons and devils. Amidst the shifting lights, you catch a glimpse of the strange fireplace on the other side. Study the portal appearing through, determine it connects to one of the 9 hells. Don't know anything about spellcraft. Right. Portals to the Hells can generally be closed by something demonic touching them. The inverse is also true. Portals connecting to the Abyss can usually be shut down by putting something devilish in them. So a Quasit is pretty much the demonic equivalent of an imp. Eek, man, they hit hard. It's really one of their only advantages. They do have that damage reduction thing. I think they do. Hellhounds actually might not have any kind of innate damage resistance. I'm not certain on that one. But they do enough extra fire damage. They can really tear you up if you're not careful. And at low levels, as like a wizard's familiar, that's really handy. Come on, put the thing down. Man, that slow effect. Huge deal. Alright, let's put down the rest of these things. Their fire is seemingly far less dangerous than the Hellhound fire. A necklace, some reagents. There's a Quasit Eye. Let's go close this thing before there's a chance for anything else to come through. Last thing I need is a succubus coming out the other end. Oh boy. Ooh, there you go. Wow. Oh. You can go right through this cabinet, whatever that is. Cast the eye into it, and away it goes. I better sweep the place and make sure there are none left. Were you able to fight your way through all the imps and close the portal? Guess you must have, or you wouldn't be here and seem so calm. Who are you? What are you doing here anyway? The imp medicines ended on the barbarian. Thunger Blueguard sounded like something peculiar was happening, so I ended up found myself in a battle. What was going on? Good to know everything's safe now. The mighty sorcerer Terras Kazef, scion of the noble Kazef family, bane of Hellspawn, came into the tail end of one of my epic battles against the force of the lower planes. What were you doing hiding in here from the past of the lowly imps? Not really much more than an apprentice, experimenting with summoning spells. Something went wrong. Next thing I know, the place is overrun with imps. Hope Father doesn't hear about this. Already thinks magical studies are too dangerous. That's chaotic. No, that's just evil. Hate to admit it. That's probably true. Sure, I'll be more careful in the future. Place is wrecked. Probably... So I expect I'll be abandoning it soon. Probably save my life. Taking out those imps. Feel free to take any valuables you find lying about. Look for a recommendation to Gadarins. Can't help you there. Banned from that establishment after an incident occurred while I was practicing some fire magic. Of course. Glad I have your approval, but I was going to loot the place anyway. Another district exit. Korad School of Fencing. What is this place? Greatest swordsman of Kalimshan, perhaps the greatest in all of Faerun, trains a select group of students in mastering the art of the sword. Anyway, I can become one. It's possible you may one day come to his notice, be offered opportunity to become a student, but I can't say it's very likely. I'd like to look around. Access to the school is limited to students and staff here neither. Alright. A fighter can get access to the school. It's kind of an underwhelming reward, but it gives you some extra experience. He'll train you a bit. Alright, so here I can display what I was talking about when it comes to these sewer entrances. Go in them no matter what, and then pull the lever. There. And now you can always come in that way. After repeated games where I lost access to a particular area because I failed to actually open it, I decided I should just always do that. Fumble with the lock on this door. Whoever's on the other side calls out, "What's your business here?" Yeah, nothing. Don't worry about it. This one's unlocked. No quests or monsters. It is worth checking. Some random folks do have little quests and things that need to be done. Most of them offer very minimal rewards, but it's been known to happen. And if you're a thief, you actually get experience for looting people's houses, believe it or not. You have to be very evil, but there's some pretty extensive, solid rewards out of it, which seemed a little odd to me. There's the Surcat estate. I'll be back down for there. There's Saman Waladi. He made it back alive. Well, if it isn't my friend, pleasure to see you. An unexpected delight. I see you find your way back from the wasteland desert. Appear none the worse for your ordeals there. You seem to have managed quite well. Gather your flying carpet brought you back. Once I was freed from that terrible dungeon, carpet restored to me. It was quite a simple matter. Fly back to Kalimport. Easy matter to return to the comforts of civilization. Do not think I've forgotten. I have you to thank for it. Promised to reward you for what you did in the desert. Now I can. You shall have what was promised. 2,500 gold. Fitting repayment. Yeah, thank you. Well earned. Someone pauses looking thoughtful. Since you're so appreciative, perhaps you could give me a letter of recommendations. Be happy to do so. Simple favor, one I can hardly refuse. Give me a moment. Now I got one. Thank you again. I suppose I'll be on my way then. It occurs to me I might be able to hire you for another task if you're willing. What do you have in mind? Small matter of no great moment. Really, you're only saving me a small trip. Need someone to go to the City Watch headquarters, speak to the customs inspector. Supposed to provide me official papers, certificate of approval indicating some goods I'm shipping to pass his inspection. Just routine business. Paper with my official seal. Establish your authorized to act on my behalf, not just some random adventure off the street. Go to the headquarters, locate the inspector, be found within, and mention my name. Should give you papers without difficulty. Alright. So, I've got one letter of recommendation. Like how he has to specify half-orc people like you are welcome within the city. As long as they obey the law. I figure that's the same with all types of people, right? There's one thing I know about corrupt cities. Well, now I'm not going to talk on that because it really depends on the city how they'll respond to just about anyone. Some people actually prefer that people don't obey the law. That way they can claim that they're upholding the law and then individually harm who they want. Well, this doesn't look good. I'm really learning that I should not trust Zarala. And now here I am, stuck in the elemental plane of fire. Oh, well, while I'm here, I might as well take an opportunity to look around, right? It's hardly the first elemental plane I've spontaneously been sent to. The device appears to be designed to press down the floor. It's currently locked in place. Whoop. Don't like them. Boy, I need cleave. Oh, and so someone died here. Probably a bad idea to start pulling the levers at random. Yeah, it wouldn't be the smartest, I guess. It is a mage's estate. Who knows what things here are gonna do. How are they getting attacks of opportunity? I was standing there watching them fly down. Somehow they're the ones with the extra window of opportunity. Very frustrating. I'm getting real close to leveling up again. Hold on a second. Portal goes softly for you. Hopefully it can be used to escape the sea place. Nothing's perfect. Glowing energies have a planar portal mark your point of entrance, presumably also your attempt to examine it further. No way to directly manipulate the portal as you're freely to examine it. It seems to open on its own. Looking through, you see sections of the car estate from which you were transported, and a mage pointing toward the portal making arcane gestures. Perhaps they realize there's a mistake, giving you a chance to escape. Enter the portal. There's Colomus. Despite having apparently arranged your release, Mage declares you suspiciously. Seems you're quick enough to seize the opening I gave you, return for my trap. Upon scrying you, there I became doubtful you were actually a hostile intruder. The barbarian recently hired by the Galhadrs. What's your business here? Came to deliver a message to Kadzia. I'm Colomas. There was a time when anyone from the Galhadr state would have been welcome. That was long ago, as you discovered. These days we're most suspicious of uninvited guests, wherever they come from. Yeah, Hamad and I were once friends, worked together trying to bring reform to the cesspool of villainy that you know as Kalimport. Sought to bring an end to the vile slave trade. Our goals were one, came to disagree on methods. First, I'd like to know where you would stand in our controversies. What do you think of the slave trade of using men as if they were beasts? Of using another for one's benefit with no regard for his own welfare? Yeah, that's the man. Both of those are completely wrong answers. Yeah, that right there. Rejoice to hear it. Easy to condemn something in abstract conversation, much harder to take action. What should we be willing to do to see the institution ended? Confine your protest to those that society accepts, because they'll never actually change anything, or would you do whatever was necessary? Do whatever is necessary to achieve my goals. Strive for within the law. Be open to making exceptions. He was determined to work within the law. Had no stone for that assembly needed of one. Is actually to gain political influence by such means. I was less willing to follow such a foolish, contradictory course. We went on different paths. We'll go inform Kazi of our guests. Visits made me thoughtful. Wonder if fears of failure have not softened Hamad's inflexibility. Perhaps I should contact him and see. You still have a message to deliver? Find Kazi upstairs. Well, first, I'm gonna poke around your home. This would be the estate cook. One of those adventuring types. Clumps hard you. Running around the estate poking yards where it doesn't belong. Do me a favor, keep an eye out for my ring. Seem to have lost it. Yeah, sure. This would be the sewer access for them. No way out through these. Not gonna steal things. Suspect Glum Sakar set up this chamber where you could carry out potentially dangerous summonings in seclusion. So this is an extension of his place. Also heavily locked. Well, as you can see, Kalimport goes pretty deep. It stands to reason in Farunian terms, if there was a civilization, or if this is a world where civilizations have risen and fallen for, you know, just tens of thousands of years, it makes sense that areas that were ideal for cities would have been built on repeatedly. Is this the ring you're looking for? 50 gold and a nice hearty meal. I might as well use these things. Not if they're going to do me any else good. That'd be the sword. Can't ascend any higher in the tower. There's Kadzia. Not being an arcane spellcaster, much of the materials are relevant. Yeah. Here's the message I was to deliver. Take a look at this, send one of our servants to Zarala with a response soon enough. Hopefully he will greet it more courteously than I hear you were upon arriving. Whoever told me a story about getting the two of you into trouble over some magic sword that with the same flaming scimitar that was one of our more memorable misadventures. If Zarala's interested in old Jin magic, you might want to research the history of that blade, which is apparently a magical artifact of some significance. You could ask my father about it, since he's devoted a lot of research to it, but he hasn't been in a good mood lately. Getting surly and uncommunicative when I try to ask him about old elemental magic. Or something that it's better not to know. Alright. Wow, that's one of the first effortless rated people I've seen.
Yeah,
He doesn't sound very trustworthy. If there's one thing I've learned about the Forgotten Realms, it's that you can 100% judge people based off their voice. And be right the majority of the time. Don't look like one of the maintenance workers. What are you doing here? I intended to explore. One of those adventurers. Thought you looked like a barbarian. You're welcome to explore it, but you might find more adventure than you bargained for. The were-rat population has become very aggressive, massing in larger groups and attacking everyone they come across. We've had were-rats living in the sewers for a long time, but usually if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Something sure stirred them up, but your guess is as good as mine as to what. Bad news for us. Our maintenance schedule's been completely disrupted. Workers are losing their lives. We've reported the master, requested guards be assigned, but for now everything is still working its way through bureaucratic channels. Wouldn't surprise me if that was still the case a month from now. Locking doors, blocking access to some of the more dangerous sections. You want to hazard your life? That's your affair. You've been warned. All you need to do is pull the lever, open the door. If you're going to fight the were-rats, you'll have to have a silver enchanted weapon. Be ready for a fight. That reminds me, I don't need to hang on to this anymore. Since my weapon can now act as a... Well, I mean, it is a magic weapon, so it'll kill them instead. Alright, I think I'm getting pretty close to a time where I want to call it quits here. It's pretty late where I am currently. Let's throw these on. Actually, while I'm at it, let's just do this for convenience sake. Unaccustomed to being addressed by half-orc, responds to communication with interest. What do you know about the were-rats? A particular rat has been trying to avoid the were-rats, not wanting to be conscripted into their service as many of its fellows have been. It does not know much about them. It does know, however, that the were-rats' new aggressiveness began when they started having dealings with some other creature, of a type unknown to the rat. Any treasure? Takes a while to get the rat to understand what you mean by treasure. Once it's accomplished, it's able to direct you to a section of the sewers long forgotten by the humans, leads to a collection of the kind of thing you're looking for. Warns you can be dangerous. Some rats who go there do not come back. Yeah. I figure most aren't going to have anything new to say, but I'll attempt communication with all of them. And there are a lot of rats that are, in fact, currently under the control of the were-rats. Okay, so I think I'm going to end this one here then. Might be a little early, but I'm not all that worried about it. I'll do these in increments as I see fit. So we'll be picking up the next one, hopefully clearing out all the sewers of the noble estates, and then probably heading over to the markets first, taking a look at that, and then seeing where else I want to go around the city. I can't go everywhere yet. There's like 8 districts or something like that that you can visit in the city itself, and you have to get access to them to know where you're going. Right now, I think I have access to the one I'm currently in, the Watch, which is very small, minimal stuff to do there. It's mostly all quest-related. The Market, and the Temple. I think those are the only ones I can go to right now. And so, I'll see exactly where next episode takes us, but we might go to the Watch before the Market. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there. But I'm going to end this one here then. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.